right. Well, we have some Chad news that we need to get to, Johnny. Chad had some shows.
Hotel room is pressing charges.
We're not going to do the hotel room rant. We did that one yesterday. And I'm probably not going to put this up as a clip because Jesus Christ. I mean, how many Chad clips can a guy have? You know, between Chad and Opie.
All our channel is.
Between Chad, Opie, and Bam Margera, I got no time for anybody else. So Chad keeps making news because Chad is the only person who doesn't understand how broadcasting and the internet and podcasting works. This whole thing works that you do a show, and then after you do your show, you go live your life. Chad lives for what's happening on the internet. And he doesn't know how he wants to approach it. So he goes, yeah, I lie all the time. It's the internet. It doesn't matter. So it's okay that I lie. But then on the other hand, he goes, I'm not fucking around anymore. This is real life shit. I'm not fucking around. Yeah, I'm going to get. And you're just sitting there like, which one is it? Is this not real life and you lie and you fuck around? Or are you not fucking around anymore and you're going for it? It's almost like perhaps you're just having a mental breakdown. You really don't know what you're doing. Well, somebody wrote a review. Somebody named Buddy on Facebook wrote a review of Chad's stand-up set. Now, Chad was not the last one to go on. There was somebody else, I guess, who did a set. But Chad went on, and from what I read, there were 100 people there to watch comedy that night, which, by the way, Johnny, anyone can attest, that's a great crowd for stand-up comedy.
That's a good room.
100 people is a good room. Anything over 100, you got enough people that you can have a really good comedy show. I would say, what's the bare minimum for you to go, okay, this crowd won't be tough because of low numbers? So it's 60?
Yeah, 50, 60 is your bare minimum.
Yeah.
You need any less than that, and it's just going to feel like you're doing like somebody's birthday party.
Yeah, it feels really weird, like everything's one-on-one. So Chad's got 100 people in there.
Okay.
The person who wrote the post that I saw said that he did such a bad job that there were less than half those people left by the time he got off stage. And that Chad has now taken his internet persona to the stage, which is a terrible idea because the internet is the internet. Podcasting is podcasting. Stand-up is a different animal. These people who are watching you on stage don't know who you are. They don't watch podcasting. They don't watch YouTube. They don't watch any of that shit. And if they do,
on, guys, I'm telling jokes. Where are my super chats? Hand the money up.
And if they do, they're not watching things like Misery Loves Company. Misery Loves Company has this problem where they have a finite universe and there's only a couple thousand people in it. We have the wonderful thing about this show, the benefit we have is that we kind of do a morning show with different topics. People are coming in and out all the time. It's not the same 600 people sitting there all day. It's in and out. You look at our analytics, 30 to 40,000 or 35 to 40,000 unique, 15 to 20,000 returning viewers. MLC doesn't have that many listeners. They have more than we do live, but they don't have a lot of reviewability because nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. So Chad can't go on comedy stages and do the podcast thing that only 2,000 people in the world know about because nobody watching the comedy shows are going to know it exists. So
please tell me he called himself a mud shark on stage. I just want him to call himself a mud shark.
He did ask one guy who was apparently a troll. He did ask one guy, where are you from? Like he was setting up a little banter, you know?
Huh?
And he goes, where are you from? And the guy said, I'm from Kumia country. And apparently Chad just moved on with the show after he did that. Well, this buddy wrote a Facebook review of the show. And here it is. I'm actually going to leave it on this because it's easier to see. Chad Zumock absolutely ruined the whole show within 10 minutes of being on stage. Calling audience members cunts because we weren't engaging with him because he wasn't funny. Okay, see, this is what I mean about the internet persona has now taken him over. and he doesn't know the difference between real life and podcast life. If you're a comic, if you're a podcast person, if you're abrasive, sometimes that helps you. But if you're a comic and you're abrasive, most of the time, unless that's kind of your gimmick and you're known for that and you have an established audience, which none of us have when we go do stand-up, being abrasive, people will just think you're a dick and they won't like you. So Chad starts being abrasive because the audience isn't engaging with him. The problem is you have to give the audience a reason to engage with you. And when they're not engaging with you, if they're standoffish and they don't like you, calling them cunts is not going to help.
I don't know about you, but when because you don't do like open mics and stuff all the time, and hopefully I'll get back to that. But when I go to like an open mic or a comedy show and there's ever a comedian who's floundering, it sucks. I hate that feeling. And so it's like watching someone get kicked in the balls. You're having like sympathetic pains.
Yeah.
But the one thing that kills it for me instantly, and I switch right to hating you, is the people who then put it on the audience like, come on, guys, you can laugh. It's a joke. It's okay to laugh. It's like, yes, it is okay to laugh. Yeah. And the fact that they're not is your fault. Right. And you need to address that. I
love it when, comedians bomb and they blame the audience as if the audience didn't know they were at a comedy show and were supposed to laugh at things they found funny. Like there's a thing called feeling out the audience. You see what they're into and you give them that. So Chad is bombing, and this buddy writes he basically started verbally fighting with the audience, thinking it was good material. Our group of 15 that we had been trying to get to go to the show for months walked out 10 minutes into Chad's coming on stage. So he walked a group of 15. He walked 15% of the audience in the first 10 minutes. That's pretty good.
I want to book that Zumock. Make sure to put him at the end. Clears out the room. We don't got to get people to go home.
Perfect. Not only is that the first comedy show we've ever walked out on, that is the first show we have ever walked out on. We have been to several comedy shows several times before, and although some comedians are better than others, this was absolutely the worst experience we have had and are embarrassed that we took our friends. After our group walked out, half of the audience in the comedy show started filtering out, including their tabs, because it was such a shit show. Dustin Vance was great, that must have been the feature, and killed it that night. He engaged well with the audience, and his comedy was actually hilarious and should definitely come back again.
Was there a comedian after Chad? I would love to hear that.
No, I think he was headlining. I think Dustin Vance must have closed because, like I said, this guy claims that people walked out of the show, and was he trying to say they walked out on their tabs as well?
Possibly. I know he was saying it was literally a little weird the way where they walked out on the show, and it's the first time they've walked out on any show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at a comedy club, especially where there's a lot of people, you might get up and go get a drink or something, socialize a little bit. But to actually leave.
I mean, that's pretty brutal. There was one other review that someone had, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to find it. That's too bad. Yeah, somebody wrote a review of his show, and they said that, he was calling a table of women cunts, and he was just basically verbally attacking everybody. I understand.
Call them cunts. How could it go wrong?
I understand me having to give Chad radio and broadcasting advice. I get that. I was a show host. He wasn't. He was a stunt boy. But you and I having to give Chad Zumock stand-up comedy advice when I'm a 2-time-a-year comic, and
I'm a low-level comic. No.
And it's supposed to be his profession.
He's the best comic in Florida. Don't tell him how to do his game.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Sean says, can we 5150 Chad? No. People have to care about him in order to 5150 the guy. So I didn't want to spend too much time on the Chad thing today. I just thought that review was, I guess I could say it's kind of funny, but kind of sad. It's again, that podcast persona is now starting to leak into stand-up. And if you put the podcast persona online, okay, that's fine. That can be explained away. That's fun. on a comedy stage, you can't bring that abrasive, confrontational persona unless you're known, unless you're like if Bill Burr got confrontational or back in the day, Sam Kinison. That's one thing. Nobody knows who Chad is when he goes and does comedy. So to be getting abrasive and confrontational with the audience is only going to make sure you don't get booked.
Plus, it's one thing to get abrasive and confrontational on the internet. They're not right in your face and able to punch you. But if you're gonna, if you're gonna call a table full of people cunts, those cunts are right there. I mean, it's not in the comments anymore; it's in real life.
And if bar owners and club owners start talking, and Chad Zumock comes up and they go, "Yeah, he walked half the room during his set," it's not going to get you booked. So, I don't know how he's going to spin that one away. He'll probably lie about his power going out or getting a gun or something. But one thing's for sure, he has fallen into the shit pit. He's the shit shark more than the mud shark. He's fallen into the shit pit and he stopped struggling. He's just decided, you know what? I'm going to become shit. I'm just going to become a shit goblin. That's all I am. I'm not going to try and dig myself out of this. I'm not going to try and have the dignity to try and power through. I'm just going to sit in the filth. I'm going to live here. This is my life for as long as it lasts.
I would enjoy the comedy stuff, like where it's not related to the internet shit. This is like, again, this is why, and he should be using it for this. The stand-up comedy should be your time away from the internet chat.
Right.
You put down MLC, you put down all the other shit. You go in a room, you tell some jokes, you make some people laugh, you have a great time.
Exactly.
And you don't even think about any of this shit.
That's not the way it's going to go. All right.